All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
One Outs, episode 13. The Boogaboos. We are going to face them again.
Yes.
But we only kind of scammed our way through the last game, so what do we do now?
Yeah, we basically countered their scam with our own scam, and Toua is realizing, okay, but now we've all played some cards out on the table here.
Yep.
The next game will be the real battle, because now it's the combination of, okay, where are the flaws in each of our strategies, respectively, but also then just by figuring out a counter to the strategies used in the previous game, that means then you have to have counters prepped to then the counters that are brought in, and this can go full cyclical, and it can get absolutely ridiculous.
In addition to just the counters that you came up with previously maybe not working anymore because they aren't going to be surprised by them.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, all right, let's see all the tricks that Toua has brought up that could be utilized here. Let's see Johnson being utilized in a way that is terrifying, not just from the base running perspective, but from the fielding perspective as well.
Sure.
Given that they did find a way to work around that. Here with some very shady tactics.
And given that Toua has already given up a run to Johnson, what happens in this next game where things could get even harder?
Yep.
You don't have all of the other outs that you can make since you're just being brought in to face Johnson. So every run that he gets, that's a lot of money that you're losing.
Yep, a lot of money. So, yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
All right.
Okay, first batter. Wow.
Cool.
What? Oh, whoa.
Nice. Because then it changes how you pitch behind the batter. Right. Yeah. The ankle's on the other side because they're on the other side of the plate.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And he's in his legal space as well.
Right.
Shit.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay. Alright, let's see it, Johnson.
And of course everyone's cheering like crazy.
Close, but not there yet. Okay. Right down the middle. Yep. Jesus.
Wow.
Dang, that was a pretty good bounce up on the catcher's part, though.
Yeah.
But now it's easier. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, pickoffs. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Intentional. Yeah. Oh, that was really close.
That was very close.
And he threw a ball intentionally. Did you see that? Like he set him up so he could stand up. Yeah, that was dirty. That was dirty. God, Tadokoro is probably like, this is really annoying, you know?
Really?
Why are we talking about this, too? I'm gonna strike you out. Oh, if you foul a bunch, it's a strikeout on 2 strikes, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, cool. All right, but he says he's a veteran, so let's see here. Killer's intent.
Yeah. Would have been hilarious.
俺がどうするにせよ、ジョンソンはノーサインで走ってくる。奴は右投手だ。ジョンソンのスタートを見ながら投球できる。問題はどこに外すかだ。当然木之内はヒッティングに切り替えてくるでしょうからね、カニダさん。
ツーナッシングやからね。ヒッティングなら内野に転がしさえすればいい。ファールでも仕切り直しやしね。
そうか、これだ。奴の狙いは。打者にとって転がしづらく、バッテリーにとってジョンソンをアウトにできるコースは
Completely wrong.
ここだ。近年打撃不振だった俺はこのシーズンひたすらバントの技術を磨いてきたんだ。一軍一気の声をかけてな。ツーナッシングに追い込まれていようが
Wow.
迷わずバントだ。
Because if he bunts, it doesn't matter if it's a dead ball.
足が上がった。あ、ジョンソンスタート。あ、スリーバントだ。何？お前の思い描く必勝ゾーンはもはや。
Where's it going?
投げた。俺の手の中だ。
Right down the middle.
ど真ん中。なんでここでど真ん中なんだ。
Oh, and he's in mid-motion. He's gonna get a double play.
Yeah.
Double play.
Oh shit.
Go. Bam. He's not good at turning around.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy.
He played you, and you fucked up the whole thing.
But Tokuji did run the gamble like quite a bit there.
But if he hadn't hit it,
俺がマウンドに上がった時にはすでに勝負球は投げられていたのさ。
Damn.
一球勝負なら絶対に殺す。そういった時お前は揺れた。
こいつ正真正銘の勝負師だ。
Mm-hmm.
And there it is.
Done. It was running. Would he not have been able to steal home?
頭一回失敗したくらいで。
いや、この一回が大きいんだ。今ので戦局は変わったんだ。
Nice. Okay. We're
誤
adapting.
解するな。ジョンソンはこの後も使う。だが、たとえ三塁に到達しても、ホームスチールを最優先する戦法はやめる。
Just play a good game.
Oh,
interesting.
特殊はここまでチープな小技で勝ったような面してるが、ミーは。
That's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's like, no, I am minding them. This is info.
こっちは何度でもジョンソンで勝負するで。
バガブーズベンチ、特地に向かって何か言ってますよ、カニダさん。
ああ、挑発しとんやね。
それにカニダさん、さっきも2ストライクだから勝負になりましたが、木之内も次はそう簡単に2ストライクにはならないでしょうからね。
となるとどうかね。案外ジョンソンへの策はつけとんちゃうかな。
いいこと言うな。
no, I was about to say the exact opposite, but classic.
2回裏バガブーズの攻撃。ツーアウトランナーなし。
打った。しかしこれはボテボテのショートゴロ。今井軽快にさばいて一塁へ。
Go.
Oh, he intentionally dropped it. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, he won't be able to steal because the guy in front of him will have to steal too. And then he's gonna be too slow. Now.
ツーアウトジョンソンの打席。
Or no, maybe not.
当然と突っ込まやい。ああ、特地後逸。ジョンソン、それを見てすかさず二塁へ。特地もたつく。ジョンソンは二塁を蹴った。ジョンソン一気に三塁到達。
Cool.
Okay.
三原監督出ます。
Switching him.
お約束のあのセリフか。
ピッチャー特地出ます。
特地です。特地登板です。これはカニダさん、
Is he gonna do some more sleight of hand with the ball where it's like he's dropping it, he's fumbling around with it and stuff?
Maybe.
2アウトという好状況に助けられた形の徳地はジョンソンの足を気にすることなく打者勝負に専念、注文通りのピッチャーゴロに仕留める。
悪運の強いやつ。
Okay, so that's what he was doing there. Yeah.
外のカーブを引っ掛けた。ボテボテの一塁ゴロ。ああ、
Yeah, yeah.
またまたエラーだ。どうしたことでしょう、徳地。
Yeah, I think yeah.
お前ら
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
徳地が動揺のあまりエラーを重ねている。本気でそう思っているのか。3回のピンチをしのいだ徳地を見てこう言ったな。悪運の強いやつだ。2アウトに救わ。
Yeah, he set that up. Yeah.
果たしてあの場面が2アウトだったのは徳地の悪運かね。ジョンソンの足には威力がある。確かにお前らが言うようにそれを封じる策は徳地をもって。
Yeah, they had to get the batting up to him so that they would actually be able to go all the way through with this. But
一つ、ジョンソンが打席の時にノーアウト、もしくはワンアウトであること。2アウトだと打者勝負されるからだ。そしてもう一つ。
Yep, there it is. Right, yes.
ないこと。前の塁が詰まっていては、足の速いジョンソンといえども、次の塁に進めない。
So
が
good.
コントロールしてるんだよ。自らエラーすることで、わざとジョンソンが走れない。
Because his team is doing great on all the other aspects of defense. So they need to accelerate things in the batting side of things. Ow. You've lost already.
心配するな。奴がそう来るならこっちにも打つ手はある。
Okay.
あの男は何が何でも潰す。
Cool. Oh, shit.
Right.
Are they gonna physically, like, hurt him at first base? Like, step on his ankle?
セットポジションからピッチャー第4球投げた。ジョンソンバント。サード藤田素手で掴んで一塁へ。
Yep. Nice.
宮山も二塁へ。
Yep.
バガブー
Alright.
ノーアウト一二塁のチャンスです。しかし
どうってことねえよ。
Yeah. So they know too. Okay, sweet.
果たしてそうか。
They're just gonna tell Miyama to steal immediately.
Regardless, and
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if he gets out.
Yeah.
本気ですか監督。
当たり前だろ。
ピッチャー第1球投げた。ああ、
Yeah.
なんとジョンソン走った。何考えてんだあいつ。それに宮山も走っている。しかしこれは遅い、遅い。マジ
So
か。
he'll get out.
リード
Yeah.
が無理だ。サンドへ。井出口ジョンソンを諦める。
Don't do it though.
Yep, yep,
Let
yep.
him do it.
こっちはもらった。
Yeah, but you can't do
井
it.
出口は投げるのをやめる。
He let him steal
井出口。セーフ。
because there's no way he's gonna steal home.
投げて三塁で盗塁を阻止すればジョンソンの前にランナーがいなくなり、今までの状況と同じになる。
But the scary thing is now you need to play very safe here, baseball wise.
Yeah, if they get a solid hit, then that's two people going in.
徳地だわ。
出ました。
Oh, I thought the owner would be like, "Don't bring him in."
Interesting.
このピンチ。
Yeah, but I mean, hey, there's two possible points here.
I
So.
guess. Toki,
Okay.
Toua, you fucking genius.
Yeah.
The batters lineup being changed is a really cool setup from the coach of the Boogaboos to basically have a strategy that will nullify all of the first game's tactics.
Right.
And essentially it did. Most of them. If not really all of them. But the idea that Toua is like, no, specifically that strategy, the idea of manipulating the batter's lineup in such a way that emphasizes Johnson's skills the most. I can just play as a first baseman, which is hilarious because of all the places where errors would be the most dangerously, like, problematic is first base, because that's where the most balls are thrown to outside of home from pitcher to catcher. So, okay, all right. And the fact that the team is so aware that he's doing this, but the owner doesn't care because that lets more people on base, which makes him think that Toua is messing up because of how skilled Johnson is. So the
Right.
layers of like, oh my God, is so good because the owner's not up to Toa's game yet. He's not that smart.
But even if he was,
he might not care.
The most he could do is put Toua on a different position.
Yes.
Putting
Which would
him
be
on,
smart, honestly.
Which would be smart, because putting him on first
gives him too much control.
It gives him way too much control, right? You know, put him on second, okay, then, you know, then there you go.
I would put him, honestly, in center field. I would put Toua in center field all day. It's the place where you basically end up having to run the most.
Okay. To try and, like, tire him out or something?
Yeah. Not just a tiring out kind of thing, but it's the place where a base hit can lead to the most probable consistent people getting on base.
Okay.
So if if someone hits it basically in the sweet spot right above the pitcher, bounces right near second base, it is a guaranteed single. Basically, it's one of the safest places to hit a line drive in baseball, because the shortstop and the second baseman leave this nice little gap there because the pitcher is the front tip of the triangle that they formed there. So if you can hit above the pitcher, 8-9 feet in the air, right there, straight to the center fielder, it's fine. If they go up and just grab it, throw it to second, you get a You get a single. Yeah. And for Johnson,
that's all you need.
He just needs to get on base. It doesn't really matter how he does it. If he walks, if he grounds, if he bunts, or whatever.
As long as there's no one in front of him.
As long as there's no one in front of him, which I'm so glad they did, because the second I saw him making errors, I immediately thought, oh, cool, he's getting someone in front of him to cock block his running speed. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I've seen done in actual games, where it's like, yeah, we're just gonna walk this guy.
Right.
And that's generally how they do it.
And of course,
just walk a person in front of a fast person. You know?
And of course, the other team is like, okay, well, we'll have both people steal, even though the person on second isn't good at stealing.
Right.
If they get thrown out, that's actually better for us.
Yep.
But the catcher knows, and him and Toua have a good thing going. They coordinate well. So he specifically doesn't throw him out at third.
Nope.
That makes me very curious to see how things will go moving forward, because that guy will then have to try and steal home, which would still result in an out.
See, that's the thing, right? He actually might not have to steal home. In a weird way here, the thing what they'll end up getting here is if Toua is on home base, right? Is on the pitcher's mound right now. He's pitching. Obviously, the batters need to do their part and actually try and hit the dang ball. But if Toua is just unstoppable as a pitcher, there's going to be a setup where they can't really basically count on getting lucky and hitting it out of the infield, right?
Okay. Right.
So therefore, they basically have to do whatever they can to just force the ball to go somewhere other than home. Like, regardless. Just bunt it or what have you. And if they basically just line up everybody as bunting, and it's just like, no, we're going to bunt. Throw it wherever. As long as we force you to decide, basically, whether or not you try and watch third baseman and, hold them there. You can you let one of us advance to first base. Yeah.
Right, and the reason why this is still a problem, because originally I was thinking they could just have him try and steal again, steal home, and then they have to throw him out, because otherwise he's getting a point anyways. But the thing is that since they got the guy out at first, if they do that, then there's 2 outs, and then it's Toua versus the batter. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
Is it 2 outs right now?
No, it's 1 out.
I was going to say it's 1 out.
It's 1 out, but there's the guy that's still on third, so he's stuck there unless they get a base hit, because if he were to go steal home and then get himself out just so that Johnson, there would then be 2 outs, and Johnson...
Yeah, that's why they won't. Yeah. That's why he won't do that. Yeah.
Right. The thing that I'm curious about is that, so when it gets down to 2 outs, what is it in particular that makes it so that the stealing is tough? Because theoretically, I get that if the third person gets out and Johnson hasn't stolen home yet, then the inning's over or whatever, and that's it.
Yeah. Do you want to know the reason why?
Yeah.
There's a ruling here that's important here. So if it's 2 outs and there's someone that makes it to home, but there is an uninterrupted play of the third out happening, meaning, for instance...
Oh, okay.
For instance, grounder to shortstop, okay?
Sure.
Johnson tears it home. He makes it home before the shortstop throws it to first and gets the person out, the run doesn't count.
Right. And I know that one.
Okay.
But let's say it's not that. Let's say the person that's at bat just doesn't swing, right? And then Johnson steals home. Now, it might affect things of whether Johnson is able to steal home and things like that, but then there would be a guarantee that there would be no play happening that could result in an out and end their half of the inning. So then Johnson would have no actual forcing function on stealing as long as he stole before there was a possibility of the person at bat being struck out, right?
Yeah, if they wanted to go that route, then they just push all of the players in to prevent the bunt in that regard, and also to throw it to someone who's in the baseline,
right,
in
and then
between third and home.
And then it's the same thing that they did in the previous game,
Exactly.
made a little bit more complicated because they're up against left-handed batters,
but not really.
But if they still pull everything in, then theoretically they should be able to do it. Okay.
Yeah, the trickiest part here, I would say, is that the person who's up to bat next is going to get on first, most likely for free. So what they're going to have to do here, and this is where things will get tricky, and I want to see something of this ilk here. If you basically turn this into a game of where the person on third knows that they cannot go home and give a free out, because then it puts Johnson on third with two outs.
Yeah.
What they need to do is then throw out people at second and first after someone has made it to first base, and then immediately throw it back home and alternate someone getting onto first base to initiate the force, and then taking the person out every time that there's some kind of hit or bunt or anything at second, and then immediately sending it back home and forcing that person on third to either retreat back to third base or be tagged out.
Right, but I guess that's the thing where I feel like,
because he's so slow.
Right.
It's entirely based on that.
Right. But they want him to get out anyways. They wanted him to be out at third, Oh,
right. But he's doing everything he can to be an easy RBI for a batter that sends it into the outfield for a fly ball. And then it doesn't matter whether Johnson scores or not. It's a score for the team, and a score for the team is a game that they win because of how tight the defenses are handling the batters.
Yes, and they did specify that they are not going for the just trying to get Johnson to be able to steal home strategy anymore, because it wasn't working.
Right.
And this could be something that they could get into where it's maybe if the person on third did a steal for home that is an automatic out, and then Johnson's on third and there's two outs and there's someone at bat and the other person just doesn't swing, maybe there could be something where they could then make a shot at getting that steal.
Not with Toua as the pitcher.
Right, but given that the track record is that Toua has still been able to pull some janky things to make it so that doesn't quite work, the coach is making the tactical decision of, we are not going to put all the pressure on that. We're going to try and play a regular game with the terrifying factor of Johnson being on base, just being the extra threat to an otherwise maybe solid game.
Right, which is why I would say they're not going to have him steal home.
Sure.
They're not going to risk an out for no reason to advance Johnson. If they can't play an actual batter to pitcher's game with Toua, under any circumstances, they deserve to walk away from the series immediately anyway. So they need to go for some kind of tactic or what have you that forces Toua to play a little bit guarded here.
And so to ask a question about something else, if you don't know, that's no big deal. The part at the beginning when there was the double play, when Johnson was on third and the guy ended up bunting up into the air, fly ball, Toua catches it, he's out, all that stuff, cool. What was it that made it so that guy thought he had to hit the ball?
He had 2 strikes on him.
Right. So, and if he gets struck out, then it's over.
Well, it's not just over. He's theoretically putting the ball into the perfect position where he can just bring the ball down, and Johnson's out too. He's protecting Johnson's advance as well.
Because if the batter is struck out, then the rules of how you interact with the batter that's up to bat are different for the catcher or something like that, or
no. No, I'm confused as to what the question is.
So if the batter gets out
Okay.
when Johnson's at third and he's trying to steal home,
Okay.
because the batter got out, does that mean that Johnson basically has to go back?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
what's the
I don't see why he thought he had to hit the ball necessarily as opposed to just let it pass. Yeah, there's an out, but
Because
Johnson
if-
would be able to steal.
No, because the reason why they had the problem of basically people being able to take Johnson out is because, generally speaking, when they'd throw the ball, they would put it in such a position that the catcher would not be optimized to defend home plate.
Right.
But because he threw it directly down the middle in the perfect spot for the catcher, he needs to, at the very least, send it somewhere away. And because he's committed to the bunt, because he practiced so much, and basically Toua discerned that based on the way that he went to go bunt protect in the previous pitch, basically, that he's like, this guy is like going to bunt. He's not going to swing.
Right, and because he's at 2 strikes now,
If he fouls, he's out.
Because the batter does have an important job
Yes.
of, even if they don't actually hit the ball, being enough of a threat to basically say that their zone is protected of the places in which they could hit the ball to force the pitch to be thrown farther away and give Johnson a better opportunity of scoring.
The one thing I don't know, and this is a very specific technicality here, when you foul as a bunt on 2 strikes, you are out.
Right.
The batter struck out. Essentially, you tried to swing. The issue, though, and this is something that I think is the case here because it's still technically a foul ball from this angle, you cannot steal base on a foul ball.
Right.
Johnson cannot run to steal the base off of a ball that gets knocked out of bounds, basically.
Right.
Therefore, if he bunted and it was a foul in that regard, I don't know if it was a foul that didn't lead to a fly out, whether Johnson had to run back.
Oh, gotcha. But either way, the batter was saying was taking the approach of, I need to make contact with this ball in some way in order to make sure that Johnson can steal home and also so that I don't get out.
Well, the reason why he was doing this was not worrying about him getting out. Again, he did not care about whether or not he got out. It was because Johnson was stealing, and the place that he was throwing the ball was the perfect place for the catcher, who doesn't now have a right-handed batter in his way, to just go boom and then just drop it down a foot and it's over.
Right.
Johnson
and
is
then in
out.
order to so basically Toua kind of made him get greedy, thinking, I'm going to protect more territory because I think I can make it like an accurate estimate of where he's going to throw, because that's the best place to throw. Toua mind games him so that by doing that, he basically left himself open down there. And then the bunt that he ended up doing, Toua was still kind of gambling there.
Yes.
Because if it had ended up working out, not necessarily as a great bunt, but just something that got it a little bit away from home plate.
Yeah.
And wasn't a foul.
It just had
Johnson
to be
would have to go
inbounds.
back. Yeah.
Johnson would have been safe. It would have been a score. Yeah.
Right. But because it was like he got so in the guy's head that it ended up being this easy pop fly bunt that Toua was then able to catch and then throws directly to third, because Johnson then have to run back. Double play. There
Double
you go.
play. It's clean.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And another thing that's, I think, really important here is that this was not ruled a foul ball at any point. So the hit, while it went probably about straight up, technically would have been inbounds until the umpire said foul ball.
Right.
And then if that was the case, I believe Johnson could have theoretically been safe going back. He wouldn't have to go that. But
I think that is how it
but
goes.
if he caught it, I believe at that point, plays live.
Right.
You have to go back.
Yeah. And that's something, and I like this because it helps to reinforce that the fact that Johnson can steal home consistently is like an inhuman feat almost. Like because being able to steal home at all is damn impressive, right?
Yeah, I will say that the speed he's going with it is really good. The part that's the part that's frustrating for me as a ball player when I see a right-handed pitcher here is that I'm still waiting for the moment where Toua just lifts his knee the correct way for throwing someone off, and because of how Johnson has been going
laser focused on like.
Well, no, he's not running at the safest point.
Right.
The safest point for him to run. So imagine if these are the knees and my elbows are the feet basically. If Toua lifts his left leg like this, just straight up, he can still go anywhere.
Right.
But the second he does this, the second there's any back motion at all, he has to go to home plate.
Right.
And then otherwise it's a balk.
Right.
Basically.
And that extra time is something that helps Johnson be able to steal home, which then makes it more risky and
way more risky.
Yeah. Right.
Way more risky.
So
like an example would be, let's say he lifts his leg up, Johnson steals, he steps this way, pulls his other foot off, doesn't throw, just looks at Johnson, laughs in his head as Johnson sees him going, fuck, you can do that? Right. And then he just casually throws home and it's over.
I would not be surprised if that was something that was maybe used as like the
very end of the series.
The very end of the series kind of a thing, because that's something that is such a minute detail that I could absolutely see Toua holding it in his back pocket. Just
that is his final trick, yeah.
Right, that's his final trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in some ways he has to show Johnson over and over and over again that he maybe has been lifting his knee that way
the entire time. That way he doesn't see anything different. It's just
right.
Yeah, and to build up that confidence of like, yes, even though this is a risky thing, keep running when I do this because you might be able to score. You might be able to score. And then he ends up punishing him for it later. Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, because I think another thing is that Johnson is so good that he's not doing this in a really unsafe way. It's just that he's seeing every bit of the intention of the muscle movement, and he's like, oh, right there, it's already too late. Like, he might be thinking about making the decision, but I can tell based on his movement that the decision has already been made in his mind, because a pitcher can't really. I mean, they can. That's the thing. I've seen it. I've seen pitchers basically go for quick knee pump motions that look exactly like them throwing home, but because it's straight up and they didn't cross the foot or anything, or they didn't lean the knee back or what have you, they just quickly throw to third base, and it's just so lightning fast. You're like, is that legal? And the umpire's like, yep, he's out, or or what have you.
The sort of the over dramatized anime format of showcasing this stuff is great to help us learn the different moves and things like that, because otherwise if we were seeing all these different types of strategies and things that was a lot less one-sided
for sure
be brought up, it would be a lot harder to retain them all. Right?
Totally.
But since it's something like, Johnson, he will generally always be able to steal home unless it's against Toua. Right. Toua will generally always be able to strike someone out, unless there's some fantastic batter or whatever. Right?
It keeps the conflict localized.
Exactly. And then it's sort of scientific method of here are everything's very consistent. Here are the exact changes, and that's how you can learn bits and pieces as you go.
It's very mathematic in that regard.
Yeah.
And almost
100%.
yeah, almost literally in the dialogue as well. But I loved so much the person in front of you, because I have a funny story I wanted to share, because once I saw this I was like, yeah, I remember this. So one time I was put up as a pinch runner for somebody because I was lanky but not a good hitter.
Gotcha.
So it was the thing of where they're like, okay, Caleb, the second he gives even the slightest bit of the lift with the cross as a right-handed pitcher, go. And I was like, okay, coach, how big of a leadoff do you want me to do? And they gave me the whatever you're comfortable with. And I was like,
gotcha.
Okay. And I basically gave the very small leadoff. I gave the very, very small thing in that regard, right? Mm-hmm. And I stole base, and it was like, oh, this is great. This is a cool bit there. Yeah, it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Well, ended up being a situation where, because I was so low in the batting order, the person who was first in the batting order was still way faster than me, but you can't pinch run somebody that's already, in the batting lineup.
Right.
So there was a point where I got on base and I was walked there, And the person who was first in the batting lineup had that moment of where, yeah, maybe I was just a bit slow, but I ended up on third base with them at second base. And there's a possibility that I like should have gone home at a point, like, and I didn't, basically because I just wasn't confident in my speed, and thus they didn't get to advance to third base. And I felt that moment of where I'm like,
eyes staring into the back of your helmet.
Yeah, just like move faster, kid,
right?
You know, it was like, I'm sorry, I'm only like 15. Calm down, please. Like, I'm trying my best. And I'm thinking in my head, like, cool, I'm going to get a run, you know, because, like, there's only, like, 1 out or no outs or something.
Right, it should be easy, yeah.
But, yeah, it's fun being the ninth batter, you know, being, like you know, really, these are two different situations or what have you, but basically just being that one where it's like, yeah, I feel like I can do it, I can steal, this is great, or what have you. But then it's like, oh, you can still be way slower than, you know...
Because
the first person on the batting lineup.
Humans are wonderfully varied creatures.
Yes.
And reality is stranger than fiction.
It's true.
And
it's true.
Weird shit can happen.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen like grounders hit where it's just like a bounced like hard on the ground, like grounder there, bounced 2 times to third base. They catch it in stride. Like, you know, it's not, you know, not out, but, you know, because it bounced. And they're ready to throw it to first. The person who hit it tore to first so fast that you can almost feel the first baseman, like, leaning out to catch it, is also so they don't, like, get even close to the path of this lightning bolt just coming past first base. And because first base is one where you don't have to stay on the base after you've hit there, you just have to make sure that just when you round it, when you touch first base, you don't round it going to the left, because then you're automatically legal to be tagged out there. You have to curve to the right.
Yeah.
And I've just seen people like tear through first base. They go another 25 feet past first base and they slow down. And it's just like... Oh my God, this is ridiculous. And this is not major league. This is just, you know, like high school, you know?
Sure, yeah.
But all right, yeah. It was a fun episode.
It was.
More setup.
Yep.
There's a possibility, also I just wanted to bring this up because this is a slower paced series than the Mariners one was, that this series is only 2 games. It might also be a 4-game series. There's no rule about a series in baseball being like a certain length. Most of them are 3.
I feel like
but they can do more.
I feel like it might have been something where when Johnson was first introduced, kind of, it was in the first game and they just won it easily, kind of a thing. And like Toua wasn't brought in or something. I can't remember, but because I thought they said in this one that they had each won 1 game. But,
okay.
But I could be wrong.
I know, but I'm just saying there might be another game after this.
Oh yeah.
Like it might be like
a
bigger
crazy
series, yeah. Because some of them are like that. They're not all equally sized in that regard.
Gotcha.
But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.